This is one of the most pervasively regulated industries in the United States at every single step of the transaction. What the FTC did was to say, some bad actors have done bad acts. These are just the tip of the iceberg. So we're going to airdrop in this whole new apparatus of regulation, even though we've never tested it and we don't know if this will prevent the bad acts that have been happening. I mean, we don't dispute there's bad actors. There are 40 million covered car sales per year. Of course, it's a huge industry. There will be bad acts. But what we're missing is the link between these regulations, which I can't emphasize enough how burdensome these are on the industry, and preventing those bad acts. We hear again and again, transactions take too long, they're too complicated, there's too much paperwork, there's too much confusion, and their answer is to inject more disclosures and paperwork into hundreds of millions of interactions between dealers and their customers. And we don't dispute that it's well-intentioned, but with the record-keeping requirement, dealers are obligated, under penalty of an unfair trade practice, to keep records of their compliance with this rule, which means if you're on a test drive with the customer and you have to make a disclosure, if the customer texts you or the customer messages you through Facebook, how on earth is that dealer going to make the record to prove that they made the disclosure in the event the FTC comes knocking at some time? So
and the customer may have test driven 10 vehicles.
Absolutely.
Or the customer may have said, well, okay, as to this vehicle, what if you add a certain add-on to the car? What's that going to cost? So it could be multiple disclosures for each vehicle.
Absolutely. And remember, too, with the monthly payment, it says each time a monthly payment is discussed, the dealer has to basically do the full underwriting and put in the full total of payments. But now, every time there's a discussion of the monthly payment, these are all going to have to come in. And respectfully, I just don't think they have justified layering all these new burdens atop a time-tested regime. When you think about how this works on the ground, as dealers are making these disclosures, it's just going to be, here's your disclosure, please sign an initial. Here's your disclosure, please sign an initial. Here's your disclosure, please sign an initial. So when you look at this rule that they've adequately grappled with these very serious questions of, will these disclosures solve the problems that they claim to be happening? I don't think they've explained why the upending transactions in this way will stop the handful of bad actors. There's 30-some million car sales that will be subject to this transaction. So even if all 100,000 complaints they cite were somehow about this, that's 0.3% of sales. So again, there's a big denominator problem.
So if the FTC says 13 billion savings, 1 billion costs, the economists are saying it's actually going to be bigger. The reduction in markups will more than offset the potential rise in prices due to potentially higher compliance costs borne by the dealers.
I don't agree with that. I mean, many of these are small businesses that run on pretty tight margins, and this offering price could also be affirmatively misleading, because now that the dealer has to go around offering price, disclosure, every car, this is the offering price, this is the offering price, this is the offering price. I believe as the rule is written, they intend it to be a ceiling, not a floor, and you can still negotiate down. We point out in our comments, many consumers might see this and think that it's now one price shopping and that's the price and you have to pay it, when in fact it's more of a ceiling. And so by anchoring so much to this new offering price, we actually think there's a very real risk that some consumers might think, oh, okay, that's it, we're done, and there's nothing further to negotiate.